Welcome back to the TowerCast Podcast, the towering podcast for the towering filmmaker of El Paso in the world. We are back with another one battle after another related podcast. Because, you know, how could we not be excited that this incredible picture shot in our own city?
We need more stories.
Yeah, we need more stories. We got some stories. We got, you know, if you caught our last episode, well, technically the episode before this, we had Kevin Smith on. When he came for the El Paso Film Festival. The episode before that, we had Tommy Danksel.
Good old Tommy.
Also, you know, fellow alumni of the pod, great dude. You know. But we have another special guest. Before I introduce him, though, I got to introduce my fellow co-host here in the room. We have Mr. Eric C.K. Nunez, our fellow producer of the pod.
Hello,
thank you, sir.
Hello. I'm happy to be back.
Yeah. And we have Mr. Jean-Eric Castro offering an acting perspective.
And I got beautiful lighting right now.
You do have beautiful lighting right now. This is just natural. Don't say that. You're going to regret that because we're talking to a gaffer. Okay, so don't, you know.
I know. You'll eat your words very quickly.
An amazing
Very
guy.
nice.
Mr. Michael Delal offering a cinematography perspective.
I'm not going to say anything incriminating. Hello.
Yeah.
And who are you?
I'm your humble film servant, Carlos
that
de la
guy?
Torre, offering a writing directing perspective. We're happy to be back on the TowerCast, talking to the great. And this is also, shout out to Tommy. Tommy recommended we speak to this amazing individual. Shout out to our buddy Tommy. We are here to talk to Justin Dickson, chief lighting technician on One Battle After Another, amongst so many other incredible films. We're talking Straight Outta Compton. We're talking Licorice Pizza. We're talking. I mean, like, I could go down the list, and I'm sure we'll get into a few of these picks. But Justin, thank you for joining us on the pod today.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome to be talking to you. Where are you at right now? You in LA? Where are we seeing you?
In Los Angeles.
Nice.
I probably shouldn't be saying this, but left work early so I could get here to.
Oh man! Thank you, man. You definitely have to do that. Is there? I'm fairly positive you also can't talk about what you're working on currently.
Currently I'm working with Mike Bauman on season 4 Monsters.
Of course, you're working with Bauman, Mr. Bauman. I mean,
that's who you need. That's who you need to get on this.
Hey, I told Tommy. I said, "Hey, what are the chances that Bauman would do it?" Because I knew Bauman. We met on set and stuff like that, and he was super sweet. But he's also kind of super like, "Nah, get that guy. Get that guy. Don't get me. Get that guy." That's how Bauman is. So I told Tommy, I was like, "What are the chances that between you and Justin, you can convince Bauman to do the pod?" He's like, "Perhaps he might do it. He might do it." So we'll need your help there. We'll need your help to tell Bauman, "Hey, they want you on the TowerCast."
That's funny.
Hopefully, you have a good enough experience where you'll say, "Hey, yeah, that was cool. You should do it."
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. Season 4 of Monsters, you said?
Yeah, this is season 4. Yeah.
Wow.
Season 4 started it up. Yep.
Nice.
So
Awesome, man.
pre-production. So was able to head out just a little early to get here.
Well, we appreciate that. We really do appreciate you doing that for us. Nice to be back home for a change, doing something episodic, I bet, right? All the traveling you've been doing, I can imagine it's nice to be back home for a bit.
What part of LA are you staying in?
Inglewood.
Inglewood. Nice.
Up to no good. Very cool. I'm going to be in LA next month. CK and I are constantly talking about all the spots we like to hit out there. So very cool to have you. We always like to kick off the podcast with, hearing about how you started your storytelling journey. So can you tell us a little bit about how that happened?
What made you?
This could be, not necessarily just filmmaking. This could be, I was a poet in high school, and that's how I decided to start telling stories. I was writing, I was doing, whatever. How did you start in your storytelling journey? Tell us about it.
Man, you know what? It's hard to kind of pick a genesis, right, of this journey. I'll say this. I was at home, Maryland, working at a chicken joint or fried chicken place.
Wow.
Right out of college, to be honest with you. So, had, degrees to do whatever, but there was, I call it the CDP program, Character Development Program.
We know that program very well.
I had to get ready for my filmmaking journey. To be honest with you, I didn't even know, the way that, because I lost my father, things got a little crazy.
Sure,
I didn't even think I was even going to make it out of the chicken shack. But to be honest with you, and circumstances opened up where my mother was like, "Hey, listen, you gotta go. Like, your dad's gone. Go." So I really, a lot of props to my mom for really, pushing me to get out there and pursue my dream. And then when I got here to California, I met a cinematographer by the name of Tommy Maddox Upshaw, who's actually shooting Star Trek right now with Albert Kurtzman. And he did Second Unit straight out of Compton. He operated underneath Matty Libertique on Iron Man. And he started just DPing things, Snowfall and
so is he on the Paramount lot right now? Or are they still
no,
they're
they're up
there?
I hate to say it, but they're up in Canada. But,
Canada?
it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. I got love for Canada, man. They need to eat too. They need to eat too.
Absolutely. So you got to be under him, and you met him when you went out to LA.
Met him, and to be honest with you, I think what really kicked it off was, and I think this is very important, is that F.E.T. Brown, who I really, and John Avnet, Rodrigo Garcia, hired me to do this. Like, they were called webisodes, and it's like 2008, 2000.
I remember those.
And the thing about it is like I was in Maryland trying to get on the set of Rocket Science. I don't know if you guys remember that movie. Came out a long time ago.
Sounds familiar.
Being filmed in Baltimore, and I tried to get on there, and this producer kicked me off. And then, like,
damn.
3 or 4 years later, when I moved out to California, I met Tommy Maddox Upshaw, and he was like, "Hey, man, I'm going to Minnesota to do a movie." And guess who the producer of that movie in Minnesota was? The same one who kicked me off in Baltimore. And then there was like another strike, and I was like, "Hey, listen, I'm going home." And my best friend Maddox was like, "Look, you go home, you'll never come back out here." And I end up staying throughout the other strike in like 2008 or when word got scarce, and this was this new influctuation of new media or web series.
Like the verticals now.
Exactly. FET Brown had this webisode, and the gaffer ended up not wanting to do it because he wasn't going to make any money. And so the DP, Denis Lenoir, who's French, he shot Righteous Kill, 88 minutes. He was like, "All right, you're stepping up and you're going to gaff this thing." And I've never gaffed before. I had never done any of that, but that process expedited that skill set where I was able to do it every day.
Yeah, you're thrown into the fire. You're going to learn pretty quick, right?
Right. And so, but I can't forget Larry Mole Parker, who was kind of like the first person in like Hollywood to really offer these like training grounds where teach you how to wrap cable, and like this is way before like Shane Hurlbutt, this was way before those classes and different things like that, where they will invite all these cinematographers into. Mo Richardson, it was at the time LED had not taken over, and the genesis of all these other things.
Yeah.
So
we had Shane on the podcast. He's actually a fellow alumni of the pod. I mean, a couple years ago at this point. But that's very interesting. And also, I know that at the time, especially maybe even up until recently, being a card carrying member is a big deal, right? So did that expedite your process to be able to be kind of a union member to be able to get on these other gigs now as a gaffer?
It took me 5 years to get into the union.
Wow.
I did low budget, and to be honest with you, it seems like, I mean, I'm really not there, but it just seems like a lot of people that I meet just want to go straight to union, where I find that there is beauty, and I find that there is craftsmanship working low budget. I mean, listen, everybody's got, everybody's got to eat. Everybody needs health insurance, and those are the positives of working. Getting into 728, being a card carrying member. Yeah. However, I do think craftsman wise, I think you do kind of miss a couple.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There's like a big ass challenge that comes to any production whenever it's super low budget, that like For example, on union, if you're a PA, you'll be working the corner, like just make sure you're locked up. But if you're a PA on independence, you're a PA for every single department, and you learn every single department.
You're absolutely preaching to the choir. I mean,
Yeah.
that's we have to wear many different hats to be able to learn every department. Even me, like as a writer director, if I don't know every single department, there's no effective way I can communicate. On an indie when there's 5 people on the crew.
I also know that like with everybody we've talked to, it's like once you're on a union set, which again, it's like you'll know when you're ready to make that kind of shift over, when you have to start saying no to jobs because it's between either working the gigs that you get or a union job and you're not union.
Let me get this straight. If you're in union, you can't work a non-union job?
There's specific kind of metrics to it. So you can on paper, but
you can, but the financial doesn't make any sense because if you get hurt, if you get hurt on a non-union,
there's nobody.
You're not covered. You're not protected.
Opposed to getting hurt on a, and that's where my mind goes to first.
Yeah.
Safety.
But listen, I mean, I honestly love non-union, to be honest with you, because there's no executive producers or studios trying to control or this is too dark or we need to brighten it up, whatever. I think indie, you can kind of be rough and rugged, and I find that that's advantageous at times. It's like sometimes you just don't want to be told by somebody that this is too dark or this is too this or that or this or that.
We don't want to hear that.
It's
don't say that, Justin, because we'll bring you to El Paso for an indie, and don't play with me because I'm gonna bring you down. No, you're absolutely right. You absolutely have a lot more creative freedom to explore and use something that's going to inform the character, the story, the film itself, not necessarily please what's going to test well for an audience. Right?
Yeah. And I think also too is like you learn how to do stuff with less.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a big time gaffer, and what I mean by that is like, you have to do with the mood, you have to do with what the story tells you to do, right? That's the story is going to tell you how to like this thing, right? But also it's like I'm not into like lights everywhere. For me, I'm like give me like 2 carts. Like give me 5, 10 lights. I don't or give me 3. I don't want like 4 18Ks on the truck and unlimited.
How do you and Tommy get along? I need to know, how do you and Tommy get along when Tommy's like, I
need them all.
Here's the thing. I think to get along with Tommy, you just got to sit back and learn from him.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Man, with all a guy with all the experience, you really gotta just come up underneath and really humble yourself underneath somebody like that who's done movies that inspired you to chase your dream.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Tommy's great at inspiring. We have a whole episode on how he inspired us and like single-handedly was responsible for us being able to just visit set and stuff like that because he saw something in indie filmmakers and saw that grind and saw that grit and said, "Come along, man. I want to pass this down to you."
He's definitely a teacher. He's definitely a teacher.
I do want to ask. We get into kind of. I'm sure we're going to want to pinpoint specific films and kind of how you went about your position in that, but. What was the film that you thought, I know your mentor was able to tell you, you got to stick around, man. Like if you stick around, this is going to pay dividends. But before you got to that point, or maybe even after you got to that point, what was the film or the project that you said, this is mine, this is for me, I'm going to stick around, I'm going to see this through, I belong here? What do you think was the project or set of projects that, sometimes it's 3 back-to-back projects that you hit in 1 year and they're like, okay, I'm working, I'm doing this. What do you think made you want to stick around in this industry? It's not for the faint of heart, right?
I did a movie in Minnesota with Maddox.
Okay.
And it was like negative 32 degrees. And I flew up there. This is a true story. I flew to Minnesota from California with a USC hoodie, some jeans, and some Chucks.
Wow.
And literally, like Maddox had to give me his per diem money in order for me to buy clothes.
Wow.
Whoa.
And I went up in a condor. I mean, it was like I went up 80 feet in the condor.
God.
Probably shouldn't have, but went up in a condor 80 feet. You couldn't even, the snow was so much you couldn't even see. And I had like 2 maxis.
Wow.
Or 3 maxis or something like that on a condor. Jeez. And I remember one guy was this is what happened. I was pocket guy to the gaffer, meaning I was this you know, the right hand man. And then there was a guy in the condor, and the guy just started. He was so scared being up in the condor during that snowstorm. That he was like, "Get me down, get me down." He was so loud, he wasn't even using the walkie. He was
You could just hear this guy freaking out at the top.
Yeah, and when he came down, I got in. I said my prayer, and then I went up.
There you go.
And after, I mean, it was so cold. We had to use like a open face 2K to use it as heat to unmelt like cable. Like that's how like cold it was. And so after that, when I came back from that shoot, I was like, yeah, there's no turning back. Like that made me a man.
What film was this? What film was this picture?
It's called My Inheritance.
My Inheritance.
It was one of Maddox's like early low budget films.
Wow.
And it was, I think I can't even remember how much I made. I didn't make any money off of it. It was just to get union days, and I didn't get all of my union, and all of it was nights. It was a horror movie taking place at one location.
Yeah.
And it was literally all nights. And there's a young lady you should actually reach out to, Amanda Campbell, and this girl is, I don't know why she's not gaffing. I think her voice needs to be heard as a gaffer. Because as a gaffer, I think you should have a voice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this girl just rocked it and killed it. And I know she wanted to, I didn't know anything. And I know she wanted to just bury me in that snow, but she had so much patience. And she was so kind to, teach during that time. And so I would say that is, that was the time where I was like, oh, okay, I'm in it. But I didn't know any other way, though.
Sure.
Right?
Now,
it's not like I went on a $100 million movie in the Bahamas, and then I went to Minnesota in negative 32 degree weather. It wasn't
like you got like the luxury treatment and you're like, yeah, this is for me. It was like being
right.
praying that they're going to bring you down one day.
If anything's going to turn you off, it's a set like this. If anything's going to say, nah, man, I'm not coming back, it's this, but it was meant to be, right? I think it sounds like it also had a lot to do with you were blessed to be surrounded by the right people who kept you on, who kept you humble, who kept you helpful. And that, I mean, you've been in this industry for quite some time now. That's not common in this industry, is for people to have the patience to show you the way, or to give you another chance, or to bring you onto something like that. So that's pretty incredible. You were at the right place at the right time, and you decided, you know what, despite the fact that this low budget horror indie in negative 32 degree weather, I'm coming back to this, man. The thrill of making a picture ultimately won out, right?
I got a question for you.
By the way, Justin, I don't think you can see our producer CK, and when you hear a voice talking, that's not us, that's him.
Could be Jesus.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, okay, which one of these guys is on?
Yeah, like,
he's manning the switcher board in the back and stuff like that. So if you hear him talking, just so you know, that's who that is.
At the end of the episode, I'll run into the front camera just so I can say hi. But I have a question for you, Justin. So when it comes down to the mindset that a lot of people tend to have in the industry, I've met a lot of people that are just like, oh man, like this person is treating me wrong or whatever. I mean, that's a valid point. But I guess what I'm trying to get at is, how important is it to look at the people around you and have the mindset of learning from them?
Staying
being the
humble.
student of the game.
Oh, I think that's just life in general. I think that's what you should do.
Nice.
Here's the thing. It's like, when I work with people, I'm really not asking them about like lighting or like movies they've done. I really ask them about like what inspires them and what are their hobbies and what's it like raising their children, or to be quite honest with you, because I think that has impact on how you look at things.
Sure.
And I think that when you light, you should light. For me, I think you should light from emotion. I don't, and mood and feeling and story. And so for me, I think it's so imperative to really, 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 really learn, because you'll find something. I'm trying to figure out what people are like studying, what they're looking at, what they're reading, what they're listening to,
the podcast they're consuming and stuff like that.
The podcaster, because I want to know. Like, to be honest with you, I always talk to the art director. Well, some of them. I talk to the ones who are inviting. I try to talk to the art director and the production designer, because I want to know what influenced them.
Sure.
What are they looking at? What books are they on? Like this Ryan Murphy show that I'm on now, I just went straight to the set deck, and I was like, what movies are you watching? What books are you reading?
Sure.
And then I walked out of our office with like 5 books, you know, that had to do with what's shaping other people's artistry.
Yeah. And that,
So
yeah. No, I'm so sorry. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
No. I was done.
I just was gonna say Ryan Murphy, in a Ryan Murphy ambience, is gonna allow for that type of playfulness in terms of like what you're drawing your inspirations from and how that's gonna inform the show. 'Cause it's very versatile too. Like he'll go from musical to, you know, things like black and white things and stuff like that. So I kind of feel like that environment, you have the ability to actually use influences as opposed to cookie cutter stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Has that been your experience on this? I mean, I don't know if you've been on all 4 seasons, but you know.
No, I'm just doing this one season, and you know, to be quite honest with you, there's some things that I read in one of the books. I don't have it here with me, and I don't know the name of it offhand. But anyways, without giving up too much information, we had a camera test. Ryan Murphy comes in, and like I said, for me, I'm not really, as of yet, looking at period lighting. I'm reading about what that period of time was like.
Of course.
Okay.
Right. And so for me, because I want to capture the emotional tonality of what is going on.
Sure.
With the time, because I wasn't born in the 1800s. You know,
Right.
so I don't know what this, I don't know what that's like. So for me, reading about it and understanding what shaped certain things. But anyways, I go back and I tell the key grip, Chuck Crivier, who is, you need to have on this show, who's just an amazing person and a humongous key grip. Ryan Murphy comes in, he says a couple of things. He says, well, I should say this. He says, not verbatim, but he says the exact same thing that I told the key grip about the time period and getting in, and how Ryan wanted to get in the essence of that time period and how it should feel and what it should do. But I got that from reading books, and that opened up another can of worms for me about lighting.
I love that.
That you guys will see whenever this comes out, we can revisit.
And it will. Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, go.
No, I will say, like, in watching One Battle After Another, we were able to come to an early screening here in El Paso. It shows the care of the environment, because I think I remember the first time I communicated to my family, I'm getting into cinematography and lighting, and they were like, oh, so just turning them on or what? And then it's no, there's a lot more that's involved.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful to see these scenes where if it needs to feel safe, you can make that. And if it needs to feel cold, if it needs to feel like there's unease, I'm thinking a lot of Bob's character when he's at his home, and before and after they break into it, and even when they return at the very end of the movie, it should feel similar, the lighting, but there's all these little adjustments that it either feels safer, it feels estranged.
Well, I was gonna say, and we'll get heavy-handed into One Battle a little later, because I do want to ask you about some of the early films you worked on, just a specific few that I'm really excited to talk to you about. Yeah. But with One Battle, I was gonna say Sensei's apartment building, essentially that complex. That's the only one.
The apartment room, right? When you
the whole walkthrough of the entire. I mean, I know Flo did an incredible job on the production design, but I mean to say that's one of the very few scenes. Not very few. I mean, that's one of the many scenes we can authenticate because of the El Paso-ness, if you will, of that whole entire, building and the different families that he's introducing Bob to, the different individuals, the everything from the tanner wall colors to the frames that are hanging, to the, I think, like even Mexican blankets that are on the wall. I mean, all these types of things, but the lighting is warm and welcoming. And then in an environment where Bob is losing his mind, just trying to connect his cell phone, this is the opposite. It's showing you Sensei's sensibilities of like, hey, this is family. I protect my people.
Right?
This is my revolution. I'm bringing you in, but we're calm here. We try to be inviting and warm, and that comes across directly in the lighting. I thought that was an incredible.
You know what? To be quite honest with you, and we could talk about this whenever you guys want. I really have to give a lot of that to like Paul Thomas Anderson and Mike Bauman. To be honest with you, I think they're so intertwined, and I think that they're so close to the story, right? Paul's had this story for, I'm sure, for a while. So
I think he said 20 years. I think he's been developing this thing for 20 years. Yeah.
And so he saw the El Paso walk 20 years ago, or whenever 5 years, whatever the case may be. Yeah. And it's just really implementing the game plan of what he wanted. And in Mike Bauman. But those are two geniuses, man. I really have to give like Mike Bauman and Paul. That's a scary duo.
I love.
I'm glad they're filmmakers. I'm glad they're filmmakers and not superheroes. Yeah. Man.
No, you're telling us. I mean, those are people who we admire. And then it's also very humbling to meet people like yourself, people like Bauman and Paul. We got to be on the test shoots for this thing, and unfortunately, we at least you and I, Justin, didn't meet on set. But
someone's at the door.
Yeah, do you need to get that?
Yeah, can I?
Yeah, you're good.
No
You're good.
No worries.
Austin, we got a timestamp here if you're either listening or
sorry.
Quick, by the way, dance. I was looking at my phone because I don't know why I got like a sudden panic that I didn't hit record on the Zoom meeting. So I texted UCK, but you're busy. So I texted Austin. I was like, yo, check to make sure that the Zoom call's recording.
Dude, your intuition came clutch because for a second I saw Austin doing something over here. And I was like, what's going on? And it wasn't.
Okay. Yeah. Good. I know the audio is recording at the end of the day, so we can always cut back and stuff like that. But
he's got a new script in his hands.
Oh, he's got sides.
He got dailies.
That's hilarious. All right, I'm back.
Nice.
Cool. No, so I think we can bring it back to essentially like when we met Mike Bauman and Paul. I think what impressed me the most of their relationship is their intuition to say this is what we want, this is what we're going for. And this is why it's very easy for them but they're also men of very few words, at least around us. But amongst themselves, they had this synchronization, and what impressed me the most is their calmness in the midst of all this. They were super calm. At least again, we got to see them a little closer in the test shoots on set, of course, as well, when there's 1,000 people walking around. But they were calm about how they were communicating the vision. They were calm about how they were going to approach it. They weren't freaking out. They weren't, I need X amount of light. I need you to run. They were just talking to each other like, what do you think of this? Or, yeah, maybe we do that. Or, maybe this will feel good. And that impressed the hell out of me because there's a lot on the line for something like this.
Absolutely. And that's the thing that I think having that example of things don't have to be chaotic.
Yeah.
And to be methodical and to be clear-minded. Mm-hmm. I think really, because everybody goes to the lighting. Well, I think you have to have these steps before you get to the lighting.
That's incredible. That's an incredible
I have a
perspective.
Question. Just from being on so many sets, like me, I'm an actor. I've been to a couple of sets. Sometimes you can plan something so many times, but sometimes the happy accidents are the best.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite memory where it was just like it wasn't planned, but it just came out perfect? I'm kind of putting you on the spot. I know you have so many memories.
Listen, yes, it has. I would probably need a day to think of.
I know. I just love asking that question because
No. I understand what you're saying. I'm just trying to think of when that like what moment it happened.
Right.
You're good. You're good. Like we could, if it comes to you, let us know.
Yeah.
I think where I
Yeah.
want to take it from is like we're gonna bounce from one battle and like the rest of your career, but on the opposite end of the spectrum from something like one battle, I want to talk about a film that I think doesn't get enough love, and I don't know what your experience was on this, but based on your IMDb, I noticed you got to work on one of my favorite films, and I can't really quite explain why it's one of my favorite films, and I don't really care to, but you got to work on Josh Radnor's Liberal Arts.
Oh yeah.
And this thing like has informed and shaped me as a storyteller and how I want to tell stories and approach story. And Josh, I think, is an underrated director. I mean, despite the fact that I love things like How I Met Your Mother and whatnot, I think the two pictures that Josh made are incredible. And I wondered what your experience was on this smaller, indie essentially, with Josh Radnor. And at the time, Elizabeth Olsen was an unknown. So it was just a small picture on a campus, right, on a college campus.
Yeah, Kenyon College in Ohio. We shot there, and I was actually brought in later. This gaffer who's now shooting Matt Shockey. He was the gaffer on it, and that was such a family film because it was like Elizabeth Olsen, and she would go like behind Kenyon College. There's a river. I don't know what river it is, but she would just go get in the inner tube with everybody else, and we would just
That's awesome.
Oh, that's
That
cool.
is-
go down, just be going down the river with Elizabeth Olsen, cut through Marble, and she was like, it was just family. Everybody was, and this is what I'm talking about. Those indie films are so family because I remember like Josh one time when we rapped, he was like, everybody take a moment to pray to whoever you pray to, whoever.
Right.
But everybody just do a moment of silence and just and have gratitude that we're able to do this and that we finished this film. And I can't say like he was an amazing person, amazing leader, amazing director. I mean, those are the people who I wish I could work for the rest of my life. He was amazing, but that was, I think it was just like me and maybe 3-4 electricians or something like that. Not big at all, no rigging team.
Sure.
You lay it down, you pick it up.
Yeah.
You're heading up 18Ks on road runners on, and I vividly remember this. It was a platform outside of the apartment, and we had to get a road runner up there, and we had to put an 18 up there to get to the second floor, and
Make it happen,
it had to make it happen, and it felt like a sense of accomplishment, when you did it. Not like, we got to do that. It was like, yo, this is what it takes.
Right.
We were all, we were all in it, and so.
Do we want the
I think
picture in the
Seamus
bag,
Tierney-
or do we not want the picture in the bag? Yeah.
Right. I think Seamus Tierney was the DP who I think is shooting. He's shooting something big now. I can't in overseas. I can't think of the show.
Yeah.
But he is. I mean, it was great. It was fun.
Wow.
Is
That's
there
amazing.
is there like a key to maintaining that feeling, that family, even when the crew like grows? Like I don't know, on this last picture, like the one you're on now, like I know it's bigger electric teams, and then working in tandem with like the grip team, but like how do you maintain that? How do you maintain that community? Is there something you do or incorporate, like at the start of the set, like talk to everybody on an individual level? Like what do you do to?
Yeah, I think you. I think you do. I'll be honest with you. I'm more so intimidated by like the Bowmans and the Pauls,
Rightfully so.
in the Colin.
Yeah.
Colin Anderson,
Yeah,
all these
Colin.
different people. You know what I'm saying? It's like all the Tana and Flo.
You also got to work on, with F. Gary Gray, and that's not a small feat, I can imagine, in something like Straight Outta Compton. And
Well, I did second unit,
Oh, okay,
and
okay.
Jeff Ferrero, who is one of Maddie's gaffers. I mean, Jeff is another person you need to have on this show, man.
You may
Jeff
give us a list, man. We'll bring him on.
Jeff is an incredible person who's always trying to just pour into people's lives. You know, he's not trying to hold on to anything. He's just a great person. But yeah, so that was fun. Once again, like I said, Tommy Maddox Upshaw DP'd the second unit stuff, and you know, it was around. I mean, come on, man, it's NWA. It was like,
hell yeah,
yeah, it was like you wanted to do your best, man. You wanted to honor. I think what it really hit me is we were doing second unit stuff, and it was like Dre was in a Ferrari, like driving through, and like the helicopters, he gets pulled over. It's
my gosh, that second unit is the car chase scene with the helicopters, and that's what they captured.
Right. And so I remember seeing Dre one night, and I was like, oh shoot, this is real. Like, he got out the car, because he's one of those people to me that are like just larger than life.
Yeah.
Same.
Was he on set often, even just like on
you know what? I only came when there was like second unit type stuff, so I wasn't there all the time. And like I said, the reason why I love Jeff so much is because Jeff didn't know me from Adam, and he was like, sure, you know, he could have got one of his guys to second unit, or he could have got one of his buddies to do it. He allowed this guy who he had no idea do this thing, and so he gave a lot of opportunity, and I'm grateful. But that scene was we had like 3 BB lights, and I think they only had like 1 or 2 guys or something, 4 BB lights or something like that. And I had to I have a picture I probably could send you guys of me operating one BB light like by myself. I had no idea. I was hearing buttons, beeping and everything. And I'm like, yo, what do you do? Wow. I'm on a walkie with one of the owners. He's telling me, this is how you do it, and this is how you do it. And it's
working.
Right. And so it was like you did whatever it took, and I was like, that was definitely special. That was definitely a special.
That's incredible, Justin. I want to ask you in terms of, I think this is a good segue, and that also kind of piggybacks a little bit about what you're talking about in this family aspect. Despite the size or scale of the picture, let's talk about a little more about PTA and Bauman, because you did Licorice Pizza before One Battle, and I'm willing to bet that, you know, despite the fact that somebody like Bauman, you know, and PTA like to have a shorthand, like to bring a lot of the same people back on and stuff like that, Licorice Pizza and One Battle, naturally the scale is completely different and the story is completely different. And you know, though, there's an argument to be made that there's a similar type of intimacy to what the story is trying to convey. I like, and Paul knows this. Like, Paul knows that Licorice Pizza is my favorite picture of his. Like, I love that film so much. I hold it dear to my heart. And again, it's just informative of my kind of storytelling and the type of stories I like to tell. And I don't know, it did something for me with Licorice Pizza. Now, you have to, just like you say, you're going to go seek the references and the inspirations and what Paul might be seeing or what Bauman might be seeing or our department, whoever. I know Flo did that film as well. So, like, for production design, what was the difference in something like that in terms of intimacy of the crew as family, in terms of what you're looking for to inform the lighting of the picture, how you're working with your camera and rigging team and your electricians? What is the difference for something like that? These are two different types of pictures with quite literally the exact same people working on them, right? The exact same crew from both of these films. So can you talk a little bit about kind of Licorice Pizza and your experience on that?
And Licorice Pizza was... I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'll probably lose points. But I didn't know who Paul Thomas Anderson actually was until Licorice Pizza. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I watched Inherent Vice, but I watched it because Bauman gaffed it. I watched. Tommy
was on that as well, right? I believe Tommy was with Bauman on Inherent Vice. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yep. I think Tommy's done like 41 movies with Bauman.
Yeah.
Wow. And you're probably missing a couple, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably so. Probably so. And so what happened was that I did a thing on lighting black skin tone for Lux Lighting, and like before that he called me, and you know how it pops up and it says like maybe Mike Bauman or maybe
Yeah.
maybe Mike Bauman. I was like, man, no freaking way. I was like, no way this guy's calling me.
In your circles, was Bauman a name? I mean, I know you must have crossed paths with him, but was Bauman a name of like this dude called?
I didn't know what Bauman looked like. So back in 2015, I told my crew I was doing Real Husbands of Hollywood season 5, and I told my crew, I was like, hey, we need to get it together. We need to get better. Bauman's gonna call. Bauman was always the mark for me.
Wow. Because he's made a reputation. I mean, he only really started DPing in Licorice Pizza, so he wrote his bones in lighting and gaffing. That's the guy that you were trying to emulate or get to.
Right, that was the guy that I was like, that's the standard for me.
Wow.
Right, Bauman was the standard. Didn't know what he looked like. Couldn't point him out of a lineup. But my thing is, in 2015, I saw Bauman. I don't know. I just had enough faith to see Bauman in 2020, in 2015, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah. And I just told people I was going to work for him. I was going to gaff for Mike Bauman. I was going to gaff for Mike Bauman. And just so happened that's how Tommy Maddox Upshaw again. I was doing Snowfall at the time, and that's when like COVID was. That's when we were. It was like, I want to say May or some sort. No, August or some sort. Anyways, he asked me to come do a camera test, and I thought he wanted me to cover him. And it said PTA. And I think I hit up one of my film school classmates and was like, did you ever didn't I hear you talk about Paul Thomas Anderson? They're like, yeah. And I was like, I think I'm doing a camera test with him.
Oh, wow.
And I get out there and I do a camera test with him, and Paul is like, it was like kid in a candy store. I couldn't even focus. To be honest with you, you know, I just wanted to learn filmmaking, forget lighting. I wanted to like, what is he saying to the actors? You know, you
would have been happy to be a PA on this thing just to learn at the feet of the master.
Like it was crazy. And so the approach obviously is they're two different movies, right? Like Licorice Pizza, I think the motivations. Well, first of all, when I read the script, I was like, okay, this kind of reminds me of Manhattan. And I think when I met Paul for the first time,
Woody Allen's picture is what you're saying.
You think about like Manhattan, he was like, yeah, that's it in American Graffiti.
Sure.
So
that's a beautiful marriage of references. Absolutely. A Woody Allen picture, and absolutely.
And so that's kind of how it was like, okay, so that was kind of the motivations, and motivations are important because they keep you aligned with what you're trying to, because you can veer from a look. Right. You can veer. And that's why the approach that for me is about the emotional tonality of the story rather than just lighting, because you can just go and you could do 4 or 5 different scenes that continuity wise, you're making 4 different movies. And so for me, along with other mini films and One Battle After Another, The French Connection was one of the motivations that stood out to me. Sure. I think there were like 3 others or 4 others, but French Connection was the one that was like the one that really, really, really was stood out. And what's is, let me know if I'm going off in a tangent.
No, please. This is incredible.
We were scouting in Sacramento one time, and we were scouting one of the car chases after the bank scene, and which path they would go and different things like that. And the camera crew was talking, if we get wheels and we do this and we do, we get this and with this kind of head, we can do this. And Paul just simply says, how did they do it in the French Connection? Just how did they just hold a camera? I just want to hold a camera and just, just strap me on the side of the car and just do it how they did it in the French Connection. So that was like a funny moment of just like, hey guys, so it's two different approaches,
Sure.
two different approaches, two different.
I think we got to see that firsthand because, when we were on the test shoots for One Battle, I mean, we're hopping around rooftops in El Paso, and this is again, similar to you, we're sitting here like a bunch of kids like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? What is this? What is this? This is Paul Thomas Anderson. This is, this is Tommy Dankso. This is Michael Bauman. Like, what is this? But by the same token, it was, I had told Paul, and I told this story with Tommy that, what was incredible is that it was just department heads, right? It was Tommy, it was Bauman. They were setting up tube lights. I mean, Tommy was walking around with tube lights, just lighting the sides of the walls, and then he sent Michael here with an aperture to hit this bigger building.
A 1200 just to kind of like see what it was going to do, wash the back of the building.
And that shot, a lot of these shots that we were just testing stayed in the picture. They maintained the thing. But it was a lot of like, when I talked to Paul on this rooftop, seeing all these people run around, I told Paul, I said, hey man, this is very, very encouraging and very inspiring because this just reminds me of my crew. Yeah. It's just a bunch of knuckleheads going around and doing this thing. And I remember he was looking at like either a shot list or some storyboards on his iPad, and he stopped and he looked me dead in the eye and he said, Carlos, hold on to that feeling, man. That's what it's about. It's about making movies with your friends. Like it's about figuring it out with your friends, Yeah,
and I mean, it goes back to probably your question, right? Of like, you find people who are not going to be like, when are we going to eat? It's lunch. You don't need to be around Paul or that crew if you're like, are we going to break?
What time do we wrap?
Right. You better go get a can of 500 tea and eat it because that's what you're going to do. It's like, but no, it's like that's the thing. It's like, for me, Paul is not he's an independent filmmaker. I think his approach is independent. 100%. It's like, no, we're not going to do it how the movies do it. We're going to do it the way that this movie needs to be done. Sure. This is how it needs to be done. It's like,
now was that because you're right. I always think of guys like Paul and Scorsese and these are my heroes. I always think of them of being independent filmmakers that just happen to have slightly better budgets. And
that's it.
I think that's an incredible thing to note because even I think there was an interview recently with between Paul and Leo for New York Magazine or the New Yorker or something where they're talking about Leo says something to the effect of like, hey, people call you an art house director. And Paul says something to the effect of, and I'm paraphrasing, I'm sure he says something to the effect of like, there's no need to be cruel. But he says, yeah, I mean, this is just kind of how I approach things. And I don't really have a name for it. I don't have a regard to it. I do what the picture needs. But at the same time, VistaVision, right? I want to hear about your experience in, because Licorice Pizza was 35 millimeter. I mean, it is celluloid at the end of the day. You're still lighting for film. In which Delao here has an incredible story about how Bauman just shattered the glass for him in terms of film and how to approach it as a DP. But I want to hear your experience in terms of lighting for something as different and as grand as a format as VistaVision. I mean, you had to have that in the back of your head somehow.
Yeah, the thing about VistaVision, right, is that your depth of field, or like I should say, like, you see everything. From
head to toe.
Bottom, left to right. You know what I'm saying? And so those things, how you would normally approach certain things, you really couldn't because you would see it. You would see a condor with lights and you would see certain things like that. So there was other ways that, hiding lifts behind doors, or, you would have to resort to a silhouette because if you put even a 135-foot condor, it's still in the shot.
Sure.
No matter where you or what you hide it behind, it's still going to be in the shot because of how tall the frame is. And so,
and correct me if I'm wrong, Justin. I'm sorry, just to that point.
No, you're good.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, as I understand correctly, I forget where I heard this. It might have been Tommy who told us, but Leo likes to play. You know, guys like Leo like to play. They like to play in their space. And a lot of it is like following Leo in the space. So the entire room has to be lit. The entire world has to be lit
shit.
because Leo does not. I mean, I'm sure he hits his mark, but his mark is the world. His mark is whatever his character is telling
Like
him
he
to do in that
lives in
moment.
Here's the thing. Him going over to the him going. What I remember. Yeah. Him going over to, when he's in the apartment. He's trying to make the phone call, and he looks outside the And then the talking about happy accidents, the curtain falls.
Yeah.
That was him going over there.
Oh wow!
I mean, we did that a couple of times, and the curtain didn't fall. You know, and chose one where the curtain fell.
Wow!
And so it's one of those type of things where it's like, yeah, you do, because I mean, here's the thing too. It's like you're working with an artist, right? What if Paul decides to be like, okay, let's look over here, or discover something over here, because Paul's constantly thinking on things. Like he's constantly thinking like how to make it better. How do I make this better?
Yeah.
How do I make this better? Mike Bauman, how do we make this better? What can we do to make this better? Keep going, keep putting stuff. If it's going to make it better, keep going.
How welcoming are they? I mean, we have a little bit of a story on how I saw Paul's gears running on the test shoots on these rooftops when I suggested a wall to Paul, like a wall with a ladder that he was really happy with, that now had to be lit because it's this huge wide wall. And Paul was like, took to it and took Colin with him and said, we're checking this out, come with me. While Bauman and Tommy and I were lighting this other little corner that he thought he was going to use. But he goes off to do this thing, and then Bauman tells me, like, where'd Paul go? I was like, oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I recommended a shot to him. I thought this great wall with the ladder in the center was this great thing for the scene. And Bauman's like, way to fucking go, Cardo's like, now he's going to obsess with that for an hour. We just lost him. We just thought now he's over there. But he said, in jokingly fashion, but he was also like, no, good job, man. Good job for speaking up, because that's how you get, your voice up. That's how you get noticed in this game. And how welcoming are they to you saying, hey, Bauman, I'm thinking that this is how we got to do this, or Paul, I think if we light this way, or put, whatever you're suggesting, how welcoming is that in this environment?
Yeah.
Oh, I think very welcoming, but timing is everything.
Sure.
Right. And so there are times, and this is what I love about Paul, is that or Bauman, there's times where like, how do we make this better? Mm-hmm. Like there's something else that we're missing. And I think that opens up the floor to be like, what about this or what about that? I think there's some down times that you can bring up some things that you're thinking about in the script that you may have not gotten to. Because at that point, right, if the PA starts saying, well, look over here, and then we're over here, and we're over here, we're over there, and we're over here.
It'll drive you crazy. They'll be kicked off the set faster than you could say PA.
Right. Yeah. And so it's like, I think there is, like I said, I think timing is everything.
Sure.
I really do. So it is welcomed, I think you just have to wait for that time for that to happen. Or, hey, what do you think about this? This may, I think I can do something better. Yeah. Paul's like, yo, have at it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's going to make us better, have at it.
It's funny when we talked to Tommy, it's exact parallel.
Timing.
He was telling us, it's like, well, what advice do you have? And it's like, just know your timing, man.
Don't speak up when you don't have to, but speak up when you can. You know
when.
You want to know something
when
kind
the
of
timing's
funny?
right, then that's when you can find those beautiful collaborative processes. But don't catch somebody while they're trying to
they're like in the thick of it, and their mind is going a million miles a minute. But when there's a moment of
low,
where are we at?
Space.
Let's take a step back. What are we seeing? What could be better? Yeah, that's incredible advice. CK, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, backing on the Tommy thing, I think it almost hit in the same exact timestamp as right now.
You're kidding. That's incredible. I do want to ask in this conversation, Justin, we got to see a lot of the bigger scale that this production really was, in terms of quite literally, you guys taking over our city, man. I mean, like, but what I like about Paul as an artist, and I'd love for you to touch on that, because you're, kind of with a team responsible to help create this vision, help create the vision that Paul wants. And a lot of it is in this picture intentionally big. Like, for instance, we talk a lot about lately, as I'm sure maybe, I don't know if you were at the screening at the Warner lot, or when you got to see the picture, but for instance, we talk a little bit about the Sunland Park Mall scene that didn't even make the picture, because it was, you guys shot in the mall here in El Paso, and again, kind of took over this mall. I mean, like, it was a huge kind of, Collins on the dolly, and the tracks are, I mean, like, it's huge. And it didn't even make the picture, but nonetheless, you had to create this vision, and Paul's going to get to say, not going to use it, like in the edit. But what is it like to say, like, hey, you know what? It doesn't matter what the scale is going to be. It doesn't matter if we have to turn them all inside out. But if this is what the picture requires, I can imagine that you also have your moments of like, oh man, I lit that whole damn mall up. It didn't even make the picture. But I can sense that you as an artist are like, doesn't matter what's important for the film. What's that kind of, that balance for you?
Yeah, first of all, it's his film, right? Warner Brothers gave him the money. I didn't get that money. But I will say, I support my leader. Oh. I'm going to do whatever it takes for my leader to make the best movie that he can. And here's the good part. We didn't like the
there was a lot of natural lighting. You're right.
Yeah, there was a lot of natural lighting. Yep. So my thing is, like, he got it in the can, and it didn't work. Or he felt that it didn't need. Don't put it in. Put it in.
I'm willing to bet you were, because Tommy was obviously working alongside you on this. But I remember texting Tommy when he was in town, when you guys were in town, and it was Paul's birthday. And I just said, hey, tell the big boss happy birthday if it comes across. At that point we had already met, and I think we made a little bit of a good impression. So hopefully you remembered that. And so I texted Tommy. I said, hey, please let Paul know I say happy birthday and wish the best for him, all that kind of jazz. And I remember him texting me back. He's like, yeah, I'll let him know. He says, we're at Daly's right now. And on his birthday, he's at Daly's. But I want to ask, you guys, from what I understand, not just on this picture, but part of Paul's process is to say, hey, come into Daly's. I don't know if it's all his department heads. I don't know, but I'm willing to bet it's more than a few key people to say, hey, we all need to sit in on this. Because it's going to inform the amount of reshoots he sometimes does. He carves himself out time and space for reshoots if need be. Not a lot of filmmakers do that anymore. So I wonder what that process is like on your end to say, all right, I'm on this thing. We're going to see Dailies with Paul. And if we didn't get it, we didn't get it. And we're going to go back and we're going to better this. We don't get... this as indie filmmakers, we don't get that chance. Despite the fact that we're shooting on digital, despite the fact that we're not at that level of budgets and stuff, we don't even get that chance a lot because of the limited resources. But Paul's able to have his crayons and say, well, this one's broke. We got to go back with a fresh crayon and get it on the page. What's that experience like for you in sitting in the room with Paul, watching dailies and saying, all right, Paul, let's go back and let's do what we got to do?
That's one of the greatest feelings ever. I call it. I'm a big football guy, and I think to be successful in football, you have to watch film on your opponent, and that is something like Licorice Pizza. You wake up, go home, wake up, go to Paul's house, watch dailies, go film. After filming, go watch film.
Wow, nice.
Yeah. And because that's where you get to hear him talk. That's where you get to really learn. That's where you get to see where you need to get better, what you could have done. And like you said, the one thing that I try to bring to cinematographers or directors, whatever the case may be, is to carve out enough time for reshoots, right? So. Or if you don't like a scene the way that it is, you don't have to be stuck with it. And I think that's just coming in and doing your thing. And then, like I said, the timing. But I think that is, for me, that is, if I could take anything away from Paul, I think that would be it. is carving is taking advantage of the time in order to get the performance or get the thing that you want, or how do I do it better?
Sure.
And I think that happens when you're watching dailies. I really do. And I think let me say this, by Borrego Springs, and I would say Borrego Springs was before El Paso. I want to say that you almost had everybody in there coming to dailies.
Wow.
So here's the thing: as an independent filmmaker, right?
Yeah.
Or low budget, whatever you want to call it, right? Could you imagine if you guys shot for 12 hours, your 5-minute film, whatever it is, whatever, at the end of the day, everybody comes over your house and watches it?
That's insane.
That is.
Can you imagine the sound guy showing up? Can you imagine, and it's like, what do you just say? You have 12 people on your crew, 15 people, whatever it is, 20, whatever, or 10 or 5 or 6, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the amount of impact?
Yeah.
And to go back to family, right?
Yeah.
Because you're now seeing what you're doing, and it's like, oh, you're not waiting until next year for it to come out and be like, oh man, we did something great.
Yeah.
You're looking at it day by day, which
And
I think feeds the family and bringing everybody.
Absolutely.
Like, look what we doing, y'all.
The best way to motivate anybody is to make them feel like they're a part of it, and that is direct. Like you're seeing your work that you just did.
That's incredible.
That's great.
And seeing
That's
it, I
what I
mean,
was
come
saying.
on, like
Carlos,
the rule of thumb.
Why aren't you doing that?
I know. You know what's funny is that we always talk
He locks
about
the door. He goes to the bathroom. That's crazy.
No, we constantly talk about how, at least I as a director will try to almost fragment that a little bit, especially in prep, right? Like I'm going to sit with my DP and I'm going to sit with him and screen 20 films for him as references and what we want to emulate and what we want to capture from certain situations, and then move on to my composer and say, hey, this is what we're doing, and move on to my, we tend to kind of have that process in prep. But when it comes to the actual filming, I think one thing that this is so cool. It's very informative, and it's actually like something I'm willing to try, because I think we've been afraid of filmmakers that constantly ask everybody for their opinions. And I think as a director, you're kind of afraid of that, because you're like, well, no, I have to be informed by the professionals I chose, who I'm trusting with their jobs. But I need to be the leader at the helm. I need to make sure that my vision is communicated. But I think it also sounds like, hey, but if I make them feel part, like, hey, we're all looking at this, we're all in this together. Let's look at the screen. How can we better this? I think that's a very interesting juxtaposition.
I just shot just DP'd a no drama film.
Oh, okay.
And No Drama is a program with Universal and Monkey Paw.
This is a brand new program, like a couple of years old only.
Brand new
I know
program.
this.
Yeah.
Brand new program. And
One of our guys, Michael Head, he applied for the No Drama thing. Yeah.
And I DP'd Spilled Milk, that our amazing director Jared Leaf directed, produced by Jabal Watson and Casey Lehner. And one thing that he loved, Paul Thomas Anderson. That was one of his, and we got to talking, and I would just tell him what Paul would do and different things like that. And Jared is probably one of my favorite directors, because he took the same approach that Paul did. And this is his first film.
Wow.
Right?
Nice.
And one of the things that he did was he met with the editor, he met with the sound, he met with the cinematographer, he met with the costume designer, all separately, and got everybody's opinion about the story. Not what they should wear, not how it should be shot, not how it should be. And there were things that he took from the costume designer. There were things he took from him. There were things he took from the editor.
Yeah.
There were certain things he took from me. There were certain things to make this. And you have to see this film, Spilled Milk, and you will just see that it's such a tight film because he took that road. And I think a lot of filmmakers are built on ego.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that somebody who makes movies like Paul Thomas Anderson and has access to the biggest actors does not have an ego.
Yeah.
Mike Bauman does not have an ego. Colin Anderson, Flo, they do not have egos whatsoever.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's very validating. It's very, very validating, Justin, because I've gone on to say to my crew, like, I'm being a bit facetious, but I've gone on to say, like, I want the PA to connect with the material that we're working on. I want the PA to be invested in kind of what we're doing. Like, I want that investment, that buy-in from the crew before I can ever ask for a buy-in from the audience.
Yeah.
Like, I want the buy-in from the crew to say, we're all in this together. We're going to help tell this story because we all want the story to be told. Not, this is a gig and I'll be off in 3 weeks and then I'm off to the next thing. No, like, though that may be true, I want everybody to live in this world with me when I'm directing, and that's so validating. So I appreciate that insight. That's a big deal.
One second, I'm just going to lift up this shade because I don't want to be a
Spoken like a true gaffer.
Yes.
Spoken like a true gaffer.
I was like, oh man, he still has light.
Well, he's an hour behind us.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I know.
Yeah.
He's in sunny California, an hour
Hour
behind us.
us.
Yeah,
Inglewood.
Pacific. He's on Pacific time. We're on
He's on
Mountain.
that
Justin, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So, from what I've heard, like so far, with the way that you talked about your experience with one battle after another, it almost seems like you were put into a situation being able to be in the same room as, like, everybody. If you're a basketball fan, you wanted to be a part of, like, the '90s Bulls, you know, because everybody was so locked in. If you're a musician or a music fan, you wanted to be in the studio with Kanye when he was making My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy because everybody's just fucking locked in. And it seems like the way that you got to experience this in one battle after another, the same thing, where, like, everybody was so dedicated to the craft of it. And kind of, my bad, but doubling down on that ego conversation, would you say that is the main key to get to kind of just inspire everybody?
Yeah. I also too, I just think you got to love film.
Yeah.
Biggest.
I think you have to be in love with the process of, like, your craft of being a sound person, holding that boom. Like, if you're doing that and you're thinking about getting paid, or I'm not getting paid, so I'm not going to give my best. I have this debate all the time. What should you get paid then?
Yeah.
Like, is $1 million enough?
That's
like,
good.
what's it? Like, what really is enough for your artistry?
Yeah.
Like, it's, you know, and so. For me, and here's the thing, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I don't deserve to be in that room. I don't have the 20 years, 35 years. Bauman could have found somebody. I mean, look at Tommy, 41 movies with him, the experience and expertise. I am really blessed to have had that opportunity of being in the same room with them, learning, contributing. You know, if it was basketball, I'd probably have like 1 point, 2 assists.
But you were on the 93 Bulls.
Yeah.
You were on the
You know what
97
I'm
Bulls.
saying?
Yeah, I mean, that's
You know what I'm
incredible.
saying?
I have to ask that I'm sure everybody listening, because it's, you know, a good chunk of our listeners are listeners, filmmakers from El Paso.
Yeah.
We'd be committing a mortal sin to not ask you what your experience was like in El Paso.
I love El Paso.
Yeah.
I love El Paso. El Paso, I want to think that it was
If I'm
not
not
my
mistaken,
first time.
that wasn't your first time here?
I don't think that was my first time. I'm trying to. I felt like I've been to El Paso, but maybe.
A lot of people, like, it's a just passing through thing. Like,
That's literally where the name
Paso.
comes from,
Yeah.
is the pass to the north, pass of the north, essentially. So, like, you might have just passed through here.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's what it was. I was doing a movie in New Mexico a long time ago. It was actually the first movie I ever did after gaffing for like 10 months. $20 million movie with Harvey Keitel, Forrest Whitaker, and Luis Guzman. Like, everybody had like an Oscar. Even the director, I can't think of his name right now. He's a French Moroccan director and won like an Oscar for like best foreign film or something.
Okay.
Anyways, what happened was I was working in New Mexico and they flew us out of El Paso. So that's
okay.
so the airport doesn't count. But I will say the chicken wings across from that hotel. It's like a bar on the corner. I don't know.
It's
I
not
don't
the El
know,
Paso Wing Factory, is it?
No,
Was it the-
no,
oh.
it's probably B-57
Is that the one on
or
the train?
uh,
Oh.
B-57.
B-57.
Shout out
Man, fried, extra crispy.
Yeah.
God, boy. And like I said, I'll be honest with you, I loved El Paso. I really, really, really did. I got emotionally attached to that place because of the time that you spend there.
Yeah. You guys were out here for about a month, not counting the test shoots, right?
Yeah, right. But I had to come out there like earlier
Yeah,
to
like
start
pre-rigging,
getting
right?
things. Yeah, pre-rigging to start
I
getting.
mean, we
things.
saw the
Like,
Warner Brothers
wow.
trucks 3 months before there was a single camera rolling. I mean,
Yeah. While Tommy was gaffing all the other stuff, I would go ahead and then Tommy would do his thing. And so El Paso, I mean, it's just, I don't know. It just left the people.
Yeah.
I just thought everybody was. I just thought it was beautiful people. We went to this place where it was like a beer garden or something like that, and they had like, I don't know. I loved it. Like I said, in the Top Golf, because if you try to go to Top Golf in Los Angeles,
It's always packed.
it's packed. There, it was like.
Easy in, easy out.
I wonder if they went to
Every
Hoppy
had
Monk.
their own
I wonder
bag.
if Hoppy Monk is the
It might
beer
be
garden.
Hoppy Monk. There's also Tin Man.
Yeah, it might have
Tin
been
Man's
one of
I
those beer.
remember. And then we went to the baseball game.
Oh, the Chihuahuas game. That's right. For
That
Paul's
was-
birthday, right? I believe it was like kind of a.
It was Paul's birthday.
It was Paul's
Yeah.
birthday. Yeah.
It was Paul's birthday.
You
That's
guys made a
awesome.
splash on the news. Everybody was like, "Whoa, was that them?" At the
It's like Benicio and Paul and
Benicio's
everybody
one I
on the
really
news
remember.
because they went to the Chihuahuas game, man. It was so special. I'm telling you,
That's
like
awesome, man.
the amount of time, not just the amount of time, but the impact you guys made on this city, and we felt it directly. We got to see the film at the Plaza Theater, which is a crown jewel of El Paso,
yeah.
of downtown El Paso.
Wow.
We just had our film festival there this last weekend, and it's a very special place. So much so that these two guys you see here are working on a musical based on this theater. That's how much we love this theater and this venue and all this stuff.
Wow.
And we got to see one battle after another there. Unfortunately, we're not quite equipped out here for even 35 or 70 or IMAX or any of that kind of stuff. Just digital IMAX is what we got out here. But we got to see the DCP, ahead of the release, and it was such a special time, Justin. You have no idea how much this picture, your time here meant for not just filmmakers like us, but for the city.
Oh, yeah.
It was a huge. Everybody came out to this and supported this in the city because.
we had people that are from here that they went to the crew screening in LA, and then they came back and saw the El Paso screening, and you could tell that everybody in the theater was just like over the moon to see the city and the way that you guys captured it and the textures you put on it. It just like there was not a dry eye in the room just because everybody was so like overjoyed to see the work that was put into
We
it.
even
and
thought
the
it
love
was
that was put into
the
it.
sweetest thing in the world because Flo came. I guess flew
Flo
from
and Michael Glazer, right?
Yes, Michael Glazer was out here as well. They presented the film alongside Jacob Senna and stuff, and they were out here. And Flo presented the film essentially, and she teared up on
She got
stage. She
really
cried.
emotional.
She cried because of how special she felt the people in El Paso were for her and stuff like
Oh,
that. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
we can't tell you what that means to us, Justin. Like, so
means the
for you
world.
to hear you say that as well, that the city meant a lot, and your time out here was of some experience and
Yeah.
value for you is incredible.
Yeah, because here's the thing: it's not just a cinematic experience; it's also a personal experience out there as well.
yeah.
Just because you're working on a film, life doesn't stop.
Yeah.
What you're dealing with and how you heal or how you grow on certain film sets and how certain circumstances
Sure.
that you're presented with makes you grow, and that is tied to El Paso,
Oof.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Right. So it's like
yeah.
there was some hard times, to be honest with you, but it was like I remember I walked home one night. I was like, I just want to
take in the city.
I just wanted to take in. Yeah, I walked home one night, and Paul stopped. They stopped the his driver stopped and was like, "Yo, you want to ride?" I was like, "No, I just want to walk in this city. I just want to inhale this city."
Wow.
And I absolutely, I thought it was great.
Awesome, Justin. Thank you for that. I think you've been extremely generous with your time here. Okay, so we don't want to overextend our welcome here, but I want to ask you. Something that we traditionally ask on the podcast. If there's a piece of advice that you could give filmmakers, aspiring filmmakers, be it, like I said, anything from writers to directors, producers, people who want to be on camera and lighting, people who want to do sound, anything that you can impart from your experience of being a storyteller, what can you say to a filmmaker out there?
Do it.
Hell yeah.
Simple.
And I'm being honest with you, because people are waiting for the perfect conditions. People are waiting for the big movie. We should just be making films because that's who we are as people, and it's going to find the right people that we inspire.
Sure.
It's like, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm kind of grateful for where the industry is now, because for me, everybody now can you can make content and put it on YouTube. You can put it on whatever the case may be, and people are searching and are hungry for stories, right? To watch and to be inspired by and to be entertained and take their mind off of what's happening in their life or in their world or whatever the case may be. So for me, it's like, it's cool coming to California, being a gaffer or being this or being that or actor, whatever. But I would be hitting up every director that I know, like, I want to be in it. I want to do sound. I want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Just like everything.
Do you feel like that's informing kind of your next steps? Because I did notice that you just jumped off of DPing something yourself, right? A short, if I'm not mistaken. And is that a trajectory that you are now exploring? I think I want to explore maybe utilizing and exercising my voice as a director of photography.
Well, my thing is, like, when I came out to California, it was like my idea was to DP, right? But I'm a craftsman, right? So you have people who like become a DP, grab a camera, just start shooting, and then just hire the best. I'm a type of person that I'm a craftsman, and I want to learn craft before I just jump. That's my own personal. It's nothing. People have their own ways of doing things, but I'm more of like a journeyman rather than like. So I guess what I'm getting at is, like, at some point, yes, there comes a point in time, but it's like, could you imagine if I was DPing, I would never be able to learn from a master like Paul.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like just learning, syncing that up with learning the technical, syncing it up with the voice, hopefully to make an impact on a lot of people, and my voice having something to say. I hope it really says a lot rather than just being buried in a cinematic graveyard.
Absolutely. I mean, it sounds like you're also taking a page out of someone you admire. Bauman waited how long to DP? I mean, he went off and made how many films and how many types of different scales of film before he jumped on a DP? Absolutely.
I mean, look at him now. And I know. I mean, I'll let him tell you, but he did. He recently finished the Anthony Bourdain movie.
All right, yeah, with the kid from the Holdovers. He's playing Bourdain. Yeah.
My God.
And so my thing is, it's like, and that's the whole thing about it. It's like, to the 35-year-old or 40 or to the 20 or whoever who has to, they can't DP right now. They can't act right now. They can't. Sound right now. They can't do production design right now. That doesn't mean you can't do it when you're 40.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you can't do it when you're 45 or 50. And I get it. We want it right now. I hardly understand. We want it right now.
Yeah.
But I think Bauman's testimony is like, hey, what if I would have gave up? What if Bauman said, you know what? I'm done. I quit. He would have never made it this far to inspire people like me, people like you, and all the people that he's inspired that he will never, ever meet in his life.
Absolutely. What would have happened if he would have given up on Iron Man and said, I'm just going to do the lighting thing? And then,
I'm just going to do the lighting.
And now he's DP'd not even an argument, the number one movie in the world at the moment. But not just the number one movie in the world, working with Paul Thomas Anderson and company. I mean, like, it's just an incredible thing. Speaking of inspiration, Justin, you have been an incredible inspiration to us. Let's give a hand to Mr. Justin Dickson being on the pod today. We could talk to you for hours, Justin, and I hope off camera we will. I hope we continue to have this conversation just on the personal note. So my
last little point I'll add in is that like I love cinematography, but I'm also, I'd like to think similar to you, a craftsman.
Absolutely.
And I've learned so much from just taking those your steps. You know, learning from everybody, doing the different things. Like, you know, I've PA'd on a bunch of different things. I've been gripping. I've been fortunate enough to like start gaffing on like a couple of like music videos and different things here, and working my way up. And I can't tell you how validating and inspirational it is to hear you, somebody that I admire, and that the trajectory is like I'm going on the same path. I would like to like walk in the same footsteps you're leaving. And no, thank you so much for being here. It's been an honor having you, man.
Thank you so much.
Same here. It's an honor. It's an honor to know you guys.
We appreciate you.
And anything you guys need, please let me know. You guys got my number. Text me, call. Y'all need to talk. Whatever it is, I'm available. Whatever you need me to do, I'm available.
Sir.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I wasn't joking. You're gonna come light my next picture, Justin. We're gonna figure this out.
That's cool. I'll gaffer my man over there.
Hey, that's my man. Well, listen, you heard it here on the TowerCast podcast. You got to get some inspiration from the great Justin Dickson, and be on the lookout for his work. These individuals are so versatile. I mean, I remember talking to Tommy right after one battle, and he's like, I'm on the next season of Euphoria, or I'm on this, or I just finished up the second season of Beef, and then like Bauman's on the show. I mean, these guys are just working and killing it, working on incredible films and television. So you heard it here. To look out for their next work, and look out for also their personal journeys.
Absolutely.
By the way, as of today, the Law and I just like by surprise saw this, but if I'm not mistaken, Aperture just released a little video on Justin as well.
Little photos.
Shout out to Aperture.
Aperture released some stuff.
Shout out to Aperture, yo.
So you sent in some pictures for what was it? Filmlight? I forget the Instagram page.
It was a Filmlight Instagram page, but it was all the BTS for
one battle. Yeah, essentially all your personal kind of pictures with Tommy there in the back, doing his thing. So that's awesome. But also follow their personal journey, because it's equally as inspiring as the work that they're doing. So I can't thank you enough, Justin, for being on the podcast with us today. This is going to inspire so many people, and we just continue to have this conversation. And thank you so much, man.
And you also got a home here in El Paso, man.
You do. Absolutely.
Hey, listen, you guys got a home in Inglewood. So
Hell yeah.
I'm being in LA in a few weeks, so CK, like we'll hit you up.
Let me know. Let's go to dinner.
You've heard it here on the TowerCast podcast. Follow Justin on his journey in storytelling, and
check out Spilled Milk.
Check out Spilled Milk, absolutely, and his program as well. Apply for that app, that No Drama program. It's really special. Everything you can do to get your voice out there. Keep making films. Keep collecting home media, and we are here for you. We are here for you as storytellers. We're here for you as filmmakers, and thank you for tuning into the Watchtower Film Podcast. Good night.